Do you think your cold emails are getting ignored? Here's a sobering truth that might sting a little. 97% of cold emails never get a response. Not because the recipients are mean or interested, but because most cold emails are written so poorly that they actually hurt the sender's reputation. But what if I told you there's a simple checklist that could flip those numbers completely upside down? What you'll master today is the infrastructure setup, the data and research to be able to build your TAM, the campaign creation, inbox management, optimization. So let's get into the top 5 right here. So for foundation, infrastructure that scales. So most cold emails fail because they can't even begin. So what you're doing wrong is setting up your infrastructure wrong. You're not setting up your domains correctly. Maybe you are having problems with the DMARC or the DKIM for the actual infrastructure of the Google workspaces that you're creating within your cold emails. The best way to get around this, I'm not going to go through some technical setup of exactly how you can go into your Google workspace and get this done, because I think honestly the easiest way to do it is the laziest way. I use scaled mail and they set up all the inboxes. All I have to do is give them the domains that I buy. You can even buy domains off of them, but I honestly recommend using Pork Bun because it's a little bit cheaper than to just buy it from them. So you can give them those domains. You can give them access to your Porkbun login and your Smart Lead login. They will take those domains. They will make 2 inboxes for each of them, and they will put it in the warm-up sequence for Smart Lead without you even having to do anything. Now they manage those inboxes continuously on a monthly service, so you're constantly having that monitored and maintained. Any kind of deliverability issues, you could just take it up with their team, usually highly responsive. So that's the first thing that I really recommend for your infrastructure. Next is the email sequencing platform. So you can use things like SmartLead, which I personally recommend. There's also private sequencing tools. There's also Instantly. The jury out between SmartLead versus Instantly is honestly that they're pretty similar. It's really just a preference of use. There's no big debate on, one is way better than the other. I've just always used SmartLead, and I see the way that they're building. They've even had a cool integration with HeyReach recently for LinkedIn. So I personally like SmartLead, so that's what I use. I also scaled mail works well with kind of most of these platforms as well. So really, this is just a personal preference of mine. But really, these sending tools, the major point of them and what they do is that you're able to put in all these domains into one platform, send out all of these emails at scale, and then have one master inbox that all of these responses get filtered into. They'll filter in where the AI will dictate if it's an interested response, not interested, a meeting request, or out of office, where they'll start the campaign again once that person comes back in the office. This is what I use for it, and this is exactly why I do it, because I really find this to be the most easy way to be able to check spam and so on and so forth, to be able to make sure my email deliverability is healthy, and really just all in one, my favorite. So that's really my take on your email sequencing platform. Next, your strategic account scaling. So start small. So if you want to have, let's say, you want to send out 100 emails, or let's say 1,000 emails a day. If you want to send out 1,000 emails a day, you're going to need to have 50 email accounts. So if you have 50 email accounts, the math is that if you have 25 domains, you create 2 email inboxes per domain, you'll have 50 inboxes. For every inbox, you send out 20 emails a day. So 50 times 20, you'll have 1,000 a day that you'll be able to send out from there. So that's really what I'd recommend in terms of using for your outreach, especially as a beginner. I really find that to be the most beneficial method that you can use. You're going to want to validate your offer, really try to see if there's a cold email ready offer, especially if you're doing these kind of cold emails offers. You want to make sure that it's something that people can say yes to easily. Do you have a lead mag that's going to provide value? Do you have something personalized in your messaging that's going to provide value? Do you use, you can leverage any kind of buyer intent system that's going to be able to have that kind of personalization in your email. Then once you validate your offer, scale big. Be able to continuously scale. The main method of any business or any agency is find out what works and then just double it, then triple it, quadruple it. Just double down on what's working and avoid what's not. You're not going to figure out exactly what works on the first day. You're just going to have to test it and figure it out from there. calculate your inbox needs. So again, this is kind of goes into the math of what we were talking about with an email sends. But let's say you have a TAM of 100,000 prospects. You verify 70% of them. 3-month rotation, you want to send out 23,000 a month. 2 emails, 46,000 emails a month. And then you do the math from there on the amount of inboxes that you would like. Email warm-up protocol, 14 days, really what I recommend, what Scaled Mail recommends, what Smart Lead recommends, what most cold email professionals recommend is to be able to give your inboxes 14 days to warm up. This is to avoid deliverability issues and just avoid not tanking the emails that you have created from going straight back into spam and then having to buy more email inboxes and be in this constant loop of waiting for your emails to warm up while your business and outreach stop. So of course, make sure to have this 14-day period, but make sure to also have some inboxes in the background that you can be able to rotate in just in case if anything happens to your account. Data collection, where campaigns live or die. So of course, the first thing you want to do is define your ICP criteria. Understand who are you actually reaching out to. Create a list on the company size, create a list on the job titles, create a list on the industry, of course. The keywords that is going to be able to be important to you. What is the exact kind of industry, title, person that is going to need the answer to the problem that you solve. You can always do lead scoring, analyze the websites, assign point values to which profiles meet your match, especially if this is something that you're just beginning. You're going to want to be able to understand exactly whose problem you solve before really scaling up. Really try to focus on getting that down and getting that right before you're scaling. Otherwise, you're just kind of spraying and praying. And then, of course, prioritize outreach. Once you have that information, be able to scale and prepare for that. AI-powered market research. So the generic approach is forgettable, no differentiation, low conversion. Usually, typically, an example of it is, we do influencer marketing for companies, or you can even now in today's world, it could be more of, hi, first name, I saw you are the job title, can we help, company name. That's even too generic at this point for AI-powered marketing research. We've grown so quickly within AI personalized messaging within the last 2 years. Now 6 months, and just every month it's just going to get increasingly more personalized. So just make sure that you have a message that's actually going to hit home with people. The AI enhanced approach now is we leverage TikTok's educational content algorithm to scale customer engagement specifically for healthcare brands. Now notice that these two messages aren't even something that you need something like a Clay for. You're just being market specific, demonstrating expertise, infinitely more compelling. So you don't need a Clay if you're just starting out. You can just be incredibly specific on who you help and how you help and why you help. This does not require personalization. You can send this to one specific industry and it could be personalized enough where people can resonate with it even though you don't have a Clay personalization inside. ChatGPT research questions. What specific advantages do email marketing provide for food e-commerce brands? This is just really a better way to understand your TAM, these kinds of questions. So I really recommend putting in these kinds of questions into ChatGPT to understand exactly who your total addressable market is, what is the size of your total addressable market, and where you can find them best. Sometimes you can find them best on Apollo, which is more of the general lead scraper. Sometimes you are looking for more local people and you're looking for people where you're scraping leads off of Data Intent Scraper or Google Maps. And then there's other things where they're more signal-based, where you're looking maybe for SaaS companies within Crunchbase, trying to find which companies just raised their Series B. These are all different areas of scraping leads that you can be able to find, but the first thing is you have to understand who you're reaching out to first. So test the value props, not the word choices. So you can have a front-end offer where you can build out something, a lead magnet perhaps, or some kind of personalized value for them. Create the free work, something that's going to be able to prove your value. Of course, the number one thing when it comes to cold emails, and I say this continually through every video because I find it to be incredibly important, is you have to prioritize building trust. Whether it is showing off a testimonial, showing off free value that you can personalize for them, whether it's talking about someone that you know that is of them or similar person or similar type of company that you've helped or similar competitors' insights. You want to be able to build trust with them. So really just do that in any possible way you can through these value props. Script framework testing. I like to do short versus long. Although I will say the thing that I've always found is the less is better. Is when you have a shorter messaging, sometimes it just works a lot better because you get to the point. Some people don't have time to read your long emails as well. Case study versus pain point. Sometimes people care more about the work that you've done so that they can trust you. Other times they feel like they want to resonate more with the pain, so they understand that you know what you're talking about when it comes to the difficulties of their job. And then personalized versus non-personalized. Sometimes generic does win. This is something that not a lot of people tell you because they'll convince you to want to buy a clay and things like that. Use the referral code or something in that area. But sometimes you could just get straight to the point. Like, hi, my name is so-and-so. I've worked with a B2B SaaS company where I've generated them 5 to 10 booked calls a week. Would this be something worth talking about? You just get straight to the point. It kind of gets rid of all the fluff and new personalized stuff that is just way too long. Sometimes people like it a little bit more personalized. These are things you can test. So I'm not telling you to buy every single tool there is out there. I want you to test first before you can be able to understand what you need and what you don't. So I really recommend this. Always add spin tags. That helps deliverability. It helps variation, helps A/B testing. Going to have a video on spin tags as well, where we'll get into exact examples of that as well. List building waterfall. So you create an account list. This is, of course, at the beginning of building your TAM. You're finding the decision makers, whether it's on Apollo or Zoom. You're scrape and enriching, whether you're exporting off of Clay or you're taking the URL off of Apollo and going into Ample Leads, Appify, Boomerang.io. Just many different ways to do it, and many different dollar amounts that it comes out to depending on how you do it. And then enrich, you can do that through Clay, Prospeo, Find That Lead Magic. And then you want to verify those emails to make sure that they are actually good emails to send out to. This can come from Million Verifier, where you'll then get good emails, catch-all, and bad emails. And then you can put in the catch-all emails into Enrichly. So that's a very simple way of how you can do it. Summarized pretty quickly. So then the inbox management system. You want to respond as fast as possible, especially within Smart Lead. If someone's getting back to you, get back to them as fast as you can. Speed to lead is real and it's critical. The faster you can get back to someone, the more important it is, the more they'll likely want to get on a call with you. The faster they'll get on a call with you, the more likely they'll buy from you. It's just as simple as that. So just do it as fast as you can. What I recommend is just checking Smart Lead every hour to be able to just respond to new leads as much as possible. Really recommend that. Couldn't stress that enough. Automated response and workflows. So you can have AI score replies. You could do this specifically in Smart Lead, where it can say, so-and-so is not interested, so-and-so is interested. There's a meeting request here. There's this. It could even give you can even connect workflows to Slack notifications, whether you're using Zapier for automations, or even Smart Lead is having more and more updates every day. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is an integration straight from Smart Lead into Slack as well. Auto follow-ups as well. You can have a lot of these messages just typed out, ready to go, depending on what the response is. Meeting conversion protocol. Again, book the meeting, but once you have the meeting booked, you're going to want to have a message that reminds them 24 hours before. This is usually off of what I use for the booked calls is Calendly, where I have a sequence of 24 hours before. I'll have the Calendly email them or text them, depending on what information I get, of a reminder of the call. Then another one 2 hours before, maybe another one 20 minutes before. This is to increase the level of people that attend your meetings and don't just flake out or drop out because you're constantly reminding them throughout the day, throughout the week, so on and so forth. Then biweekly optimization cycle. Of course, you're going to want to go through deliverability testing, campaign audits, market segment analysis, inbox metric reviews. These are just things you're going to want to continuously do for your operations within a cold email, particularly to just continually monitor, make sure everything is going as smoothly as you would like it to be. For deliverability testing, you can go with Email Guard to be able to test if your emails are accurate. Email Guard I definitely highly recommend, But again, if you want to be able to do this on a more automated level, just talk to the scaled mail team if you're working with them. Just tell them you want to test the deliverability on one of your email accounts, and they'll be able to do that for you. I can't stress it enough how much I recommend them without any kind of referral code, because they're just very helpful. Campaign audits. Really just see what scripts are booking meetings. This is just looking for the answers for your testing. Double down on winners, kill losers. Just like we were saying, find what works, double down on it, triple down on it as much as possible. And then market segment analysis, focused on your highest converting segments and cut underperformance. And really just make sure you're getting a lot of positive replies. You're fixing your call to actions, lots of questions. If there's questions on specific things, maybe your messaging is not clear. Continuously optimize that messaging. Here's the compound effect of really what you've seen, or what we've seen from ourselves and for clients, really working on the exact methods that we've talked about. If you want to see the exact cold email process we go over step by step, and we really walk you through this entire process, I'll have a video at the end that can take you there. If there's something where you do want this kind of to be more of a hand-holding thing, you want to be able to not do this all by yourself and want someone that's done it for you to be able to kind of walk you through that process as well, the video at the end should be able to help you get to that point. And then system versus tactic. Most people write better emails. They ignore the deliverability, they perfect scripts, but the winners really optimize the entire system. It's really important to understand that this is not just about writing the right emails or being able to find the right TAM. It's all of it together. So make sure that you build a system all in one and create it as a foundation, because every step works on each other. So really make sure to follow each part very specifically. Next, build a machine. Go into exactly what we kind of talked about on every part of this lesson here, and really make sure that you have the infrastructure correct, your data and your TAM correct, your messaging, your deliverability, management, and optimization. So again, to my point, if you want to be able to see the exact step-by-step process we do, you could check out the next video that we have coming up, or I'll leave a link below that can be able to take you there. We also have a checklist that I can leave as well. So want to be able to see what this looks like in action, feel free to follow along and check it out.